Day 2 of Alex Jones' second defamation trial for calling the Sandy Hook mass shooting a hoax is underway.
His latest trial comes after a Texas jury ordered the Infowars host to pay nearly $50 million to the parents of one of the victims last month. Jones is not present in the courtroom today. Sandy Hook families and an FBI agent who responded to the scene are suing him for his comments.
A judge already decided Jones is liable for his comments. This proceeding will determine just how much he will have to pay. Joining us now is Kaysia Earley. She is the founding attorney of a criminal defense and civil rights attorney for Earley Law Firm. That makes sense. Great to speak with you, Kaysia. Let's start with this with Alex Jones' defense team. They claimed Tuesday that Sandy Hook plaintiffs overstated their harm. Quite a remarkable thing to prove and to reach, but why do you think that is their approach here?
Well, they have to prove damages, right? So when you have a defamation case, you have to prove that this was a false statement and it was related to a third party. But the most important element in defamation is damages. So, of course, if you're the defendant, you're going to try to downplay what these damages are, because if the jury finds you liable for defamation, then the next step is to award a monetary amount that's in relation to the damages. So, of course, as the defense, you want to make the jury believe that they're exaggerating what their damages were so that the injury or the damages amount won't be as much.
Kaysia, what are some of the plaintiffs' attorneys arguing right now? What are they saying in response to that?
Well, first of all, we know that Alex Jones was allowed to continue this conspiracy theory. The problem is that it became a health issue as well as a security issue. You have the parents that were grieving the loss of their children, and then they had to take that extra stress, that mental stress of, Mr. Jones saying that this was all a lie, this was a hoax. And then on top of that, you have his dedicated followers that were acting out on these threats. So there's harm to their life, there's harm to their mental state being. And then, of course, they have to grieve the loss of their children. I mean, this horrific incident happened in 2012. And here we are, 2022, attempting to get him to be held accountable because he's been allowed to spread these conspiracy theories for so long, and he has gone unchecked. But the problem is, once you mess with a mother's child, then you have to be accountable for it.
Hell hath no fury is the saying.
Fury.
And I kind of look at it as the way you spelled it out. The past 8 years, it sounds like, would have been an additional level of trauma for these families already experiencing the unimaginable. So now I wonder how you quantify that. In the Texas case, Jones admitted the shooting was real. He was found liable there for nearly $15 million. How does that decision and those numbers impact what's happening in this case?
Well, it depends, because in this second trial, you're not allowed, in this case, the plaintiffs are not allowed to do an excessive cross-examination if he does testify. But then you can just have that one juror that can think, okay, well, he made a mistake, or he has taken some form of accountability. And there could be a difference in what that amount for damages could be. So this is the beauty of deliberations. We don't know what's going to go on during deliberations for them to come up with a number that would be sufficient. We know that he has close to $50 million for the first trial. Will they match that amount? Will they add on just a little bit more? We don't know. So it all depends on what comes out on the second trial, because it could be really different from the first trial.
All right. Criminal defense and civil rights attorney Kaysia Earley, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kaysia.
Thank you for having me.